to the Garnish. I just drank mad coffee. Welcome into the Unisphere. Sean Sawicki, artist extraordinaire, teacher by day, skater and
Freak
artist by
by night.
night, and a freak at all times.
Uh,
What's good? How you doing? What's your life like right now? What'd you do today?
um, my life is honestly it's all right. Like you said, I'm a teacher, so I teach high school special ed. Um, Not exactly the smoothest transition to online-based learning, I'll say that much, but it's definitely keeping the income going. And honestly, I feel like in a time when work is kind of shutting down for people, as much as it's like a headache, I mean, it's like, hey, steady checks coming in, and I connect with people, still connect with, like kids, which is good and rewarding. So what are you going to do? It's not too bad. I'm working on teaching stuff like in the studio too, which is funny. Like, so all the worlds are colliding.
Of course. Are you doing like Zoom teaching now? Zoom classes?
Yeah, it's like through, I mean, Zoom or Google Meet or whatever. I have a feeling like a lot of public schools use Google platforms. So, there's so many ways to just, get yourself set up for meetings and whatever, So I do Google Meet, but yeah, Zoom is obviously a hot number these days.
Of course. Yeah, they're hacking all our information. You know that shit's Chinese owned, right?
What?
You know that Zoom is like Chinese owned, I believe, right? And there's like a
Yeah, I heard
huge.
some weird stuff about it, like shady stuff where I heard about the way they collect data or something. There was at first, there was some argument about what's really the privacy or encryption behind it. I heard about that. And now, hey, since really, lack of better words, shit hit the fan, everybody's just jumping on whatever platform they can. Let's be real here. Our stuff's probably, all our conversations are probably floating around somewhere, Typical.
Yo, I feel kind of bad for the NSA and FBI agents that have to listen to all that, though, because there's hundreds of thousands of hours
Hey,
of conversation every day just out of like one state alone.
hey, maybe better off, give them more information to sift through. So
Yo,
people
suck my dick.
don't want to be, what?
Suck my dick, NSA. No. Yeah, exactly.
Yup,
That's the vibe.
yup.
So, Sean, I have you on the show because you've been a dear friend to me for a long time. You've been an artist for probably just as long. Maybe, well, I guess you can correct me on that. But I feel like you're a special breed of person. That's why I wanted to have you on the show. So, I guess if you want to start by introducing yourself as to who you are, where where you hail from, what your MO is. Yeah,
All
where were
right.
you born and raised?
You put me on right on the blast, right on blast,
Of course. It's going
right on
straight
the
for it.
platform, Bobby. Hey, so I'm from Granby, Massachusetts, born and raised. I should have my Granby hat on, but I don't. But yeah, Granby, Mass, small Western Mass town in Hampshire County. You tell people about it, they either think it's in Connecticut or, which I'm like, hell no, or well, there is one, but it's not the real Granby. But
It's a
it's
fact.
like it's a town in Western Mass that people basically drive through on one of the little routes, like either 116 or 202, and kind of just pass it by. Grew up in like a really, I don't know, woodsy little area with like one neighbor, and went to a really small public high school with like graduated with like 70 kids. Literally, I think four of them skated at first, and by the end of our like public school experience, like there was like two, me and my buddy Andrew, who were like still into it. So definitely, it was kind of like that classic story for that you hear from some people where it was like skating, like you're totally an alien from outer space if you do that, or like you're like labeled like total, I don't know, left
A
fielder or
freak.
something. But it was all right.
Yeah.
I had a driveway. I had a little like wooden ledge. I used to skate like a wooden bar in my basement. Like, I don't know. But yeah, from Granby. Just grew up around here in Western Mass. That's it.
Beautiful.
What else do you want to know? I need a question, Bob.
Oh, that's it, pretty much.
Good.
Imagine.
You catch me, I could ramble.
I want to kind of try to stay organized. It's a
Really,
mission of
Bob.
mine with the show to see if I can actually keep things organized. So okay, so
Gotcha.
you grew up in a small little Western Mass town. When I met you,
Yep.
you were still in high school, but then you quickly, when I actually started skating with you, was because you started going to UMass Amherst. Why did you choose that school?
That's a good question. So my whole connection with like going to UMass was kind of this like funny no-brainer thing. I think, well, my parents were like, we're like working class, rural people. Like my dad was like a produce clerk for his whole career till he retired, and my mother worked like various jobs and then is a nurse now. And my parents never went to like a 4-year college or anything. So it was like this thing, like this kind of aspiration or like a big goal for even like my cousins and stuff. Some of them went to 4-year schools, but not everybody. So it was like this thing where it was like this big aspiration to go to like UMass, Amherst, like this like goal. And, so I kind of just followed that, like, hey, I'm a kid, I'm going to go to college, whatever. And I was lucky to do that. I mean, lucky to have a good background at a school that was local and is renowned like that. And I think, luckily, even more so in my later years of high school when I started, realizing that not everyone in my direct social sphere was like into skating or art or like really, left field creative stuff. I had to really branch out, and luckily there was skate parks around, and I would branch out and go hang out with people and meet people and whatever. And I ended up meeting some dudes from Amherst, Bob Zimmerman, the man, and this guy Oliver Brandt, who were like my buddies, and they kind of pulled me out to more of the Amherst, Northampton area, and so I had great friends in the area, and then I was lucky enough to be able to go to the college where some of my friends in the same town some of my friends grew up in, so it kind of worked out. And then, you grew up around there, so even better.
Of course. Well, I'm curious though, because now that you're explaining, I was thinking about this question. Being as you were already into skating for several years at that point, and like granted, you were from a small town, but you were already super into the niche kind of type of skating and style and the culture behind it. What made you
Yeah.
want to stick around Amherst and not try to go to like Boston or New York or Philly or any of that?
Wow, that's a great question. Because like I think a lot of people who grew up in Western Mass end up moving around, traveling around. I mean, look at you. Just other people who were we're like a couple years different, but people who were around my exact age ended up moving out, getting more involved in industry stuff. I don't know what it was. Maybe sometimes I'm a little bit like in my own like place, like more grounded. Like I'm grounded person, but sometimes I think I'm just like I'm gonna focus on what's ahead of me and not push too far in any direction that I feel like I don't have like a really valid reason to pursue. And I think I tried to follow the natural sort of path that was getting like laying out in front of me. And I found that I had these interests in skating, in art and culture and stuff that I would just look for outlets around here where I could, get more involved in it. And luckily, and it's not even magically, it's like naturally, you just find that, you just like, you gravitate toward the people, even in an area so small that share similar interests. And I found that I would push hard enough, like with my interests, to find the community to support it. And very grateful for that. And I think that it can be hard to do, to kind of just like keep pushing ahead in an area where it's not so clear that there might be people who share like these similar creative values, but I have a good belief that if no matter where you are, you'll probably find someone to relate with and to build and progress creatively from. But also at the same time, I mean, you remember, Unite was a big deal, to meet some older heads and to connect with like people who were still in the area and sort of were interested in like the bigger picture, more world of skateboarding art and other culture. So it kept my mind sort of open to considering the bigger things in the world, like the need for, many different perspectives and diversity of, in every way. So I just put myself into those situations with people who were just keeping their eyes open to really good and uplifting things. And I just felt good about it, and I think it kept me in a place of being creative too. Like I could get involved with things that got me psyched and then go to a place of real, like, quiet contemplation, for lack of better words, and just be able to build on what I, felt and try to keep the creative sort of movement in order,
Mm-hmm. When would you say you started to focus on your art? Because I feel like when I first met you and started hanging out, and you would take me and Nelson, Anthony, Noonan to all the college parties, I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, this is a long time ago now that I'm thinking about it, and we had a lot of drinks together, so it's very blurry. Some bits are
Things
just...
get blurry.
I think there's like years at this point that are just blacked out. Anywho,
Yeah.
I remember you used to like tag shit. You used to have your little tags and whatever. But when did you really start to focus on, painting, composition, all that? Because you didn't go to school for art, right? You went to...
What?
Did you go to school for art or no? You didn't. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't remember anything.
Bob, no, this is so funny.
I'm so fried.
It's like we're like getting to know each other in a whole new way.
Pretty much.
No, but
yeah, no, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, this is, dude, too funny. It's like I've known you for so long. It's just, you're the best, dude. No, that's a good question. And, dude, you have a good memory for detail because I didn't think anyone would remember me like
Smoke acid.
Sharpie pen. What?
Smoke acid.
Oh, yeah, smoke acid, die young or something. That's fucked up.
Some shit like that, yeah.
I think I wrote that on somebody's wall in their house.
Oh, you wrote it like at Fine Arts Center but
Oh, yeah. No, okay, so to be fair...
We're past statute of limitations, so we can say whatever.
Yeah, when I was like really young, I don't know. I saw the skate video Shorties Fulfill the Dream, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to be into hip hop like for life. I'm like a 14-year-old kid in Granby, Mass. Like, come on, how many other people can relate to that? White skater boy from the rural
Big
town,
perm.
just shit gets popping off. So anyway, I I don't know, but it was bigger than that. I can joke about it, but it gave me a sense that there was like a community of people who you could open your mind to like different ways of just like art and culture and connect with like a bigger universal kind of crowd. So anyway, that's what like a video like Shorties Fulfill the Dream or just other like older videos like that sort of bring to you as like a kid who's kind of in a little isolated place but has interests, So yeah, the first tags I used to do were these little, hello, my name is things. And I used to work at a grocery store, Stop and Shop, like I'm a New England teenager, stocking the shelves. And I used to have to get dropped off early. So I would walk around on the street with these little, little hello, my name is things. And they used to say spirit of. Like, like the spirit of St. Louis or the spirit of so-and-so. And that was like the first thing. I was like 15, just sticking that on a trash can. I thought I was so badass. And then in college, I think I would write junkie arms or something. Like that shit is like, to think about that now, I'm like, that's like very inappropriate with the whole opioid crisis. Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know if I would go there, but like, That's like what I used to write. And I think I used to just like to write like weirdly obscene, like derelict like shit, like smoke acid, because I thought it was like funny. But it's kind of like maybe just tapping into that weird crazy kid side of myself. But anyway, yeah. So I used to mess around with that, and you know what it was at UMass? I was into creative writing. I was like into like poetry and stuff. And so like I had a lot of friends that would do like make their own books. Like so I got into like zine making when I was really in college with my friends. And we collaborate on zines, and like I would submit poems to them. And being like I wasn't like a visual art major, but I still was into like creative writing and just getting in, going to like houses where like somebody would have like a little art show in the basement. I remember this really cool house in Amherst that would have like little like photography shows. I think I read like poetry there, but like other people would read. So I guess like being at the school connected me with a lot of like do it yourself like scenes, whether it was like zine making or like little house art shows or whatever it might be. And it also connected me with like, skateboarding, hip hop, punk rock, like graffiti. It's all, in the same fruit bowl. You know what I mean? We're all just dangling around in there and it all kind of crosses over. So it was nice to mix it up with like people who, I had a lot of friends in UMass who were like playing like punk and like hardcore. And I wasn't really that into it, but I liked their mindset. And it was cool to like go to the shows and hang out. I mean, you remember that type of stuff too, Like it was just a cool melting pot in this five college area of like really like cool do it yourself scenes that got me really motivated because there's a lot of really talented artists and that are super humble and musicians that are super humble that you would never know are just like ripping or like touring like literally the world or whatever, and it's nice to connect with these like really low key people. And it's cool that when I was in UMass, it was just kind of the start of that kind of, building that creativity through these like small do it yourself community things. So
Right.
it went from there, Bob. And I think, through my 20s, it was a lot of zine making and illustration with like pen and random paper and material I could find. And I think I always loved painting so much, but it's very like, it's kind of hard. It's like so simple, but it's kind of hard. And I never really had the time to develop a practice. And eventually, like things in my life happened that just kind of put me in that place to like work on it more. Like I tore my ACL skating. Like you were there that day. The whole crew was there. Like it was like a really one of these. I take things like that to be like a sign that like think about what's in front of you and like try to adapt. And I think I took an injury like that as time to develop like a practice and something I've always really wanted to attempt and wanted to attempt to make progress in. And I think it takes a lot of time. I mean, I've been at it steady for like 5 years now, and I feel like I'm still just tipping the iceberg and like, or at the tip of the iceberg, and just trying to like figure out ways to continue to build the skill. Just like with skating, like I remember being young, 5 years into skating, you could probably do a switch flip nose slide or something, but like that's 5 years. You can get all these moves in order, but then like time is like the fine wine. It like brings it all together to make it like really sweet, So like anything, it's like a process. You can get into it and glean some like real moves, like skating, painting, any art. You can get into it, but I think it just takes time to really, really, really make it your own. But anything does.
Of course. You were saying how UMass was kind of this community that all these people, like obviously any college, you'll meet new people. Everyone's coming from all over the place, but especially like a place like UMass that has like 25,000 students per year, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that you benefited more in a place like that as opposed to going to a place like Hampshire? So basically, my question is how a lot of people make this argument these days that some people will actually find more inspiration from a place like Amherst versus a place that's supposed to be super creative and open to creatives like New York City. And that's kind of the same thing on a micro level of UMass versus Hampshire College, because Hampshire is supposed to be the school that's like super creative. You make up your own major. You don't get grades. You just get assessments. Whereas UMass is kind of like it's like a state university. Everything's by the book. The hot thing to do there, like the popular people at UMass are like the jocks that go to Eisenberg School of Business, whereas Hampshire is the people that are like, killing shit at their art shows and exhibitions, right?
Yeah.
Well, like, what's your perspective on that? Do you think that helped you in like your growth and development as a person, as an artist, as a skater? Like, do you think that aided all those things intertwined? Do you think that aided in your career path and like how you teach kids?
Bob, that's a big one. Well, I think I have a lot of feelings on that, and I think like there's something to be said with like a public school. You have like the everybody in your town, in the towns around, like it's like a big picture of like the society around you. So like you can just be, your own little unit in that society, and within that, like even though you might not be rewarded like this special place or something, like sometimes being rewarded those like special places in society like brings like pressure and brings like taking away from just like putting genuine energy into it. So I think with a place like UMass that was so big, I could just kind of go about my business as, I'm not some football jock. Like I'm not on the hockey team, like throwing a beer at some kid's face or something. Like I'm just, just this artist guy, and you just connect with the people who are in that sort of, or who share that sort of mindset. And you don't have to feel like you're on this, like in this like major, very like revered scene or something. I feel like that's something that always kind of like bothered me, to have to pigeonhole yourself into this like very specific way or scene or something.
A box.
Because I just feel like it's like in one aspect of society there's like stratosphere of like who's who and who does what, but I think that's very like as much as you can find like some comfort in that, because it's like you can deal with less pressure, I think that it can be kind of alienating to just have to box yourself in as this kind of person or that kind of person. And I'd rather be around like some of those football jocks sometimes, or some of those hockey guys sometimes, because I feel like it just helps you to like understand people deeper and connect with people, and instead of like just totally being pessimistic about like, fuck these jocks, like of course like you're gonna think that somewhat, you could just be like, all right, like it's just like whatever, like okay, Jimmy football, like have a good day, like respect, but really like get the fuck away from me, like. And I don't know, I don't want to be like sitting around some like art scene being like, oh, did like the way I said that word make me seem like a dork, or like was like my like shirt weird today and now I'm like a punk or something, you know what I mean? Like I can't deal with that crap. Like that's too much. I guess I feel like I've never been a person to want to just be a part of one scene or mix. I just want to be around people who like share good mindset. They could be football jock. They could be Johnny Hockey. They could be the most punk rock crazy person. They could be the hip hop coolest dude out. Like,
Right.
I just would want to meet people who share a good mindset, so that like, I don't know, just have a genuine connection. But I think, Bob, it helped me to do that more. Or Tom, I should say. But like it helped me to do that more, because I think some of the people I connected with there were just like your everyday average like folks, because you just try to connect with people who are like
Different from
not
you.
trying to, I don't know, it's not like take yourself seriously, but kind of like not trying to take yourself too seriously and just live your life like a with regular old human things in mind, you know,
Right.
instead of like, oh, I do this art thing, or oh, I could like I could like do a grind on that rail or something.
No, I
So
understand what you're saying. It's like it's in hindsight. Now that I look back on my past and where I grew up, it almost makes sense. It's like it's almost more comparable to New York now because I see from my experiences, especially after moving here, like you can totally get sucked into a bubble or into
yeah,
not even just a rut or a bubble, but like yeah, maybe I am trying to say that it's a bubble. But like if
sure,
basically what I'm trying to say, if you hang out with people that are too much alike and akin to you, you're not going to
yeah,
learn, you're not going to grow as a human. Whereas if you surround yourself, if you're in a more of a melting pot community versus a
yeah,
monogamous or homogenous community,
yeah.
then it's like you have more of an opportunity to grow and get tested. You know,
Yeah,
tested as a person.
yeah, that's exactly. I think that's one of the most enriching things, like to just like have to deal with all the adversity of like the random nature of people.
Yeah.
Because like why are you trying to just live in your bubble, you know? They got TV shows where they make fun of the bubble boy. Like, don't you remember Seinfeld? That guy in the bubble, he was a total dick. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
Fuck him. What?
You got to expand your mind and your horizons.
Exactly. And sometimes the most ordinary shit and ordinary type of situation and people and whatever will just like actually help to like enrich your just thinking about, you know, who you are, who you want to be, where you came from, who your, you know, family is or whatever, you know. Just builds perspective, you know. I just think that's really valuable just to have build perspective on
Yeah.
the
Perspective and
connections you
character.
have. And what's that?
Perspective and character.
Definitely,
Yeah, it just
you know.
molds you in a certain way. Well, yeah. So I guess the second part of that question would be: do you think that that molded you to, I guess, like make your career choices? And because you know, like obviously, sorry, remind me again what you said you studied in school for your
Yeah,
bachelor's.
I was an English major, like the most vague thing, but I did a lot of creative writing work and study literature. Yeah.
Well, did you envision yourself becoming a special ed teacher or a teacher? Period.
No, legit, no. And that's like a great question. Honestly, I might have told you this before, but like so when I was in college, there was like I had a relationship with someone who was in the state area, like from New Jersey, and there was a point after college where it was like, all right, what am I doing right now? Am I going to go down there and honestly go down there? I had the thought in my mind and pursue skating. Like, I'm going to move to tri-state, like Jersey, Philly, New York, and like, I'm going to skate. Like, and I was like 22 and I hate to say I hate that. Like, cause I hate that comment. Like I used to skate cause it's just, it's a mind fuck. Like that's all it is. But when I was 22 years old, it was like, I was going to move to New Jersey with this relationship, and you know I didn't, and I think it was the best choice I could have made. Like every choice is kind of the best choice, even if it's you totally get fucked. You know, like every choice is the best choice. And so it was like either I had the thought in my head, it was either like I'm going to be a pro skateboarder or I'm going to help people. And I'm glad I went with helping people. It was it. Like I remember I don't know I wanted to be a special ed teacher. It was just I think I saw this sign in my dorm that said like big brothers, big sisters. I was like, yeah, it'd be cool. I've been a big brother to my younger brother. I could probably like do something like that for like a job or something. But no, I figured, okay, might as well teach. It's a way you can consistently and kind of day to day help people out. And
Of
I
course.
think that special ed just made sense. It's like most of the kids I work with are just kind of free thinkers and just genuine to their own faults sometimes, you know, and that's why they need a little perspective on like, hey, you're thinking up here and it's killer, but just take it down to earth so like us humans can get it, you know? And I love that type of thing. Like just dealing with all these, they're like beyond left field. It's like the back of left field thinkers. And they just keep my mind super open. And it's just great. Like it totally keeps me on my feet and helps me connect with people and think about things just so differently. So it's cool.
No, that's dope. I feel like that also probably ties into you making major life changes too around the time that you graduated college or still was in college, right? Like you quit partying, then you went vegan, then you went as far vegan as you wouldn't even skate suede shoes. I remember at one point.
Yep.
You used to come in. I remember you used to come in a Stop and Shop, and you'd be like, "Yo, man, I got these slip-ons. Yo, they're dope. Yeah, and they're canvas." And I was like, "This man is fucking tripping." Because, like, granted, you're 33, 34?
34, yeah.
So yeah, I'm 3 years younger than you.
Yeah.
So like, I must have been 19 years old then. I was still trying to get fucked up all the time, and you're telling me about like, yeah, man, I don't drink anymore. Like, I don't eat meat. I'm like, you're bugging, but I guess good for you. But like, you know, obviously, you know, in hindsight now, it all makes sense. I went through similar shit just later on in my life, and yeah, it's a good type of clarity, and it'll make you realize a bunch of shit. So I figured that probably had a lot to do with like the trajectory you chose to take around you know, the end of your college career. And obviously like you got super into teaching and art, and tried to join those two together because now you're in a master's program, correct?
Yeah, yep. I'm getting my master's at Smith College.
So talk about that. What made you want to go? Two parts. What made you want to get your master's, and why did you choose or kind of make up? Did you make up your own major, sort of?
Well, it's called the Masters of Arts in Teaching, and it's like a specific degree to Smith College, and it's kind of it is flexible, and it's going to be one of those things that I'm going to be continuing to do for the next like 2.5 or so years, and it's going to roll out as to like where my studies and my focus go. Right now in this master's program, I'm been doing some research on kind of like the quality of life for special education teachers, and the way that like how their work impacts their, you know, just lifestyle, and how their relationships with their coworkers help them to think sort of positively about their work. So it's going to adapt, but I think I'm one of the first special education teachers to take the program. So I'm in a really unique position to kind of even more like flexibly get something really personalized out of it. It's a super cool opportunity. I'm so grateful like to be doing this. And you know, it's like Smith College. It's like a kind of renowned place, and like the grad programs are co-ed, but you know, the undergrads all you know, female. So it's like I just feel like I'm in a really like unique position where I'm like, wow, like very stoked to be having this opportunity now. And I think you can look back, like go back to like when I was just saying, oh, I feel like I want to just try to help people out and like try to take care of myself, which is whoever's trying to probably knows it's one of the hardest things to do in your whole life. You know what I mean? Like mental health and physical health. It's like the constant.
It's a job
For real. And if you can't say that, like you're playing.
Of course.
You're bugging. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's very real. And I think now in our time, like I think taking care of ourselves so that we can be healthy, good people to whomever it is, if it's just the person you see walking down the road or your partner or your whomever, like the world is so divided and gnarly, and all types of bad information out there in terms of connectivity. So it's like, I just feel like it's important to pursue trying to be well, and I think even in the work I'm doing in my grad program, my mind goes to like trying to think of how to continue to work within even my coworkers on making things feel kind of better,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. What were you saying, Bob? I think I lost track.
My question was, why did you decide to go to get your master's? And why did you choose to what do you want to do with the master or with the major that you chose to get this master's in?
Bob, that's a great question. I feel like in that whole spirit of me letting things kind of roll out natural, like I said, I'm putting good energy into just trying to make progress in the career I've chosen. And I think I pursued the master's in teaching, which was it was a big decision because all right, it's a good lifestyle. I have 2 paid months off in the summer. I have 4 weeks off during the September to June time where it's or 3 weeks or something where I get paid and I can have vacation. I can do art almost every day,
Mm-hmm.
work on art almost every day if I want to, and it keeps a balance of I can help people, but then I can go into my world of just I need to be creative. So I've realized that in the last year or so that being a teacher has given me a lot of good energy to keep a good balance in my life. And I know it's very hard sometimes. And I get really frustrated sometimes, just like anyone does with their work. But I think being that I've had 6 years, in total of 11 years in a school, but 6 years with my own classroom, I feel like I've just been all right, I'm going to stick to this and just do it. And, I hope that the master's degree, maybe I can start to, and this is hypothetical, but in an ideal world, I would like to work more. I don't know about being a college professor, but it would be great to just I like doing research. I like to try to do research that's going to in education, that's going to make the public education system, especially with special ed, maybe better. Because I just think kids who need special education, if they don't have a good teacher or some half-ass shit coming their way, some students that could just really get screwed over by our crazy society and sort of system that's out there. And I just want to help kids who need that, who are those left field thinkers and got some piece of paper that says, hey, special ed, dude, which probably sucks to be a kid. I just want those kind of kids to just see themselves as honestly probably the most best off in terms of being able to think for themselves and make progress in their life instead of falling into tough shit,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Do you ever talk about skating or music or your art specifically with your students? I imagine your students probably know you on a pretty personal level, right?
Yeah, and I'm not that guy who's hey, what's up? I'm the cool teacher. You ever go skating? That's cool, huh? Kickflips. I did one before. That's so whack. That's a bad move.
Of course.
It's are you gonna go up to somebody you meet on the street and just be hey, you ever do a kickflip? You bust a move before? It's no. If
right.
The kid if I feel it's a good time to bridge that gap, I'm skating, huh? I think last year I've known these kids for one kid for a whole year, another kid for 3 years of his high school time. It was the end of the school year, and I'm all right, I'm pulling out the YouTube crates, And I think I showed him a couple choice cuts. I think I pulled out the projector. I have a projector in my class. It took me 2 years to get it, and I was just it's on. I just pulled the projector down.
Were you playing your own parts?
To these what's that?
Were you playing your parts? Your video parts?
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them. I didn't play it for an hour and make the kids look at it this is your homework. Study this. Move. No, I was just like, yeah, I had like 10 minutes at the end of class, and it was like these three kids who I knew would like really appreciate it because I known them so well. So I like threw on some clips and like talked to them a bit, and it was fun. But it's like not like I never mentioned skating to them before, but I don't just like go around and be like, yeah, like look it up, dude. Like
Yeah.
it's like so lame.
That's chill. I'm sure they're probably hyped that they can like connect with their teacher. I feel like a lot
Yeah,
of
and
times,
these are kids I'm just like stoked to do that with. Like I
yeah,
feel like it's like you know how you just get that connection with some people who you know you just want to like try to enrich or uplift. It's not like I'm saving their life, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, yeah, like let's try to like get like connected or whatever, you know.
of course. What's your life like right now with Corona?
What's
Like,
your life like right now with Corona?
it's pretty chill.
Yeah,
I'm blessed
I
for it,
mean,
but it's chill. There's plenty of people suffering. I'm
yeah,
very privy to that. I'm just counting my
yeah,
own blessings, and I refuse to let my negative emotions get the best of me and then project those out into the world. I'd rather, think positively about it, or think of a positive outcome, or what positivity can come out of it at the end, and perpetuate that to the world. And I'm just staying
yeah.
busy.
No,
Unemployment's getting me through, and once again, I'm blessed that I don't have kids. I don't have crazy mortgage. My parents aren't super unhealthy
shit.
where I have to take care of them. You know what I mean? So it could be
Yep,
far worse for me. I'm just thankful that overall it's like it could be so much worse for the majority of us, you know?
yep. I hear you, Bob, loud and clear. Same shit. Like I said, like yeah, we as teachers, like all over the country, we're all trying to get used to teaching kids through whatever online platforms we have, and it's super hard and frustrating. But as much as the days can be frustrating, I'm sitting in the studio working. I wake up at a later time than I usually would. I have more time to prioritize creative things, and just like you, like my family's okay. Like I'm just very like totally grateful, and as much as I can get bent like anybody can, it can be you can the head can get heavy sometimes on certain days, but you just kind of keep rolling it along and just keep trying to just like you said, not just trying to put out all that rough shit on the world because there's enough of it really
Yeah.
going on, you know?
Like, what am I going to do? Like, complain on Instagram every day about how shitty it is? It's like everyone already knows it's shitty. Like, the news, there's plenty of news outlets already telling us how shitty it is. And, feeding us all the statistics every day, or like Trump this and blah, 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 that. Like,
Yep.
we already get that. Like, we as
Yep.
individuals, especially creative individuals, need to be creative about how to better the world, especially now that a
Yep.
lot of us have the time to do so. You know what I mean? And that's when we have to activate and
Absolutely.
shine and try to make it a better world. I know it sounds whimsical and
Yeah.
corny, but at the same time,
Sounds cheesy,
it's
but
never been truer.
yeah, no, I feel you. It's the same thing for me. It's you can't just get saturated with all the total shit, because there will be like another day, another time to connect. And if as just individuals we can continue to just try to like build healthy, good mindsets, and like no person's perfect. No person can just like be living this like coronavirus like isolation life without getting on a head trip sometimes, like having a tough day sometimes. That's a very human thing. But like it's all about like how you lay into that and like move on after you feel that way, and just like continue to just try to, understand that like there is a lot of like personal and inside like growth that can come from this, and I've been just trying to like really put my really self into that like there is a lot of enriching sort of stuff that is going on. And I just hope that people can connect more genuinely after all this shit is said and done. You know, like whether in public or whatever, there can just be a better sense of community and just like connection between one another. You know?
Absolutely. What probability do you think of that will happen? Like, what do you see the world post-corona? Because I feel like there's going to be a lot of people, like, I dare for a lot of people to keep the same energy they're keeping right now, talking about missing friends and not having the connection, turning into overnight chefs all of a sudden and whatever. It's like, keep that same energy when we're done. Let's see how genuine you are. You know what I mean? That's like the only thing that's negative to me. That's in terms of for my own personal life, like the nonsense I see. I mean, we already talked about it before, but like the weaknesses I see in people, I'm like, yo, I want to call you out, but I won't.
No call outs.
No.
Hey, I hear you though. It's proof is in the pudding, right? That's like my favorite statement these days, which used to be a Trans World photo article where they used to show the still on a big page, maybe like a 2-page spread, and then they would show the sequence on the next pages or something. Sick article. But anyway, no, you're right. It's like if you want to build like some self-sustaining, if you want to support community, then don't go back to just like spending all your dough in the Amazon fucking line, which, hey, in these days it's hard not to do, but I'm just saying, put your money where your mouth is, support your local people, and just like try to connect genuinely, because that shit is real, and that really does. If that gets you through a hard time, think of what it could do in a good time. It could make life like 20 times probably more rewarding or something like that, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like that Nas song, "The Bridge Is Over," or "Destroy and Rebuild."
Yeah. No, I never heard it, Bob.
I know you've heard
I'm
it.
I'm gonna play the fool on that one.
You've heard that song before. It's from like 2001.
I'm more of an Illmatic, like Strictly person.
Okay, so this was like Stillmatic.
Know who would? Okay, you know who would know that? Andrew would know that probably.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, him and Nelson.
He had all the random Nas albums.
But that one wasn't random. That was like platinum, I think.
Oh Jesus,
that was a big one.
See, you're speaking to me, dude. I live under a rock sometimes. Okay, you asked me these questions before. How would I stay around here? I got a nice rock with a good place under it. And I've been chilling.
Nah, okay, fair. Right now you have a rock that you're living under. Before it used to be a big ass perm.
What?
I said now you live under a rock. Before you used to live under a big ass perm.
Yeah, I don't know what I used to live under.
Did you actually have a perm, or was that just your natural hair?
I didn't have a perm, dude. I don't got much hair right now. I didn't have a perm, Bob. Those are the natural curls, man.
Really?
Yeah, what do you think? I would make my hair like style my hair?
Yo, skaters used to do shit like that. Skaters used to bleach their hair just to look like Mike Carroll.
I mean, yeah, but
Noah permed his hair.
What?
Noah, after his bar mitzvah, he got his money and then permed his hair. I filmed him getting a perm by Bart's Ice Cream. He went to the barber.
At that little place next to
Yeah, he went to the barber, got a perm, and then we went skating.
I always thought somebody should ollie the little rail that was right there, like through the doorway. You know what I'm talking about? You would have to look now. You would get it.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
You would see. No, I never got a perm, but hey, respect if you wanted one. Like, that's a ballsy move. Nah, I never did that. But my hair, I got the natural curls, and these days I got the natural bald going. And, you know, it's a part of life, I guess.
Of course. Your hairline's starting to look like Rick Swick.
Oh, God. Yeah, Rick Swick, I know. Right in his footsteps.
The old man.
He's a good role model of that Rick's father of mine.
Of course.
He worked like a mofo. So keep me on point, you know, that's for sure. Teach me the way to do something right.
Sure.
Gotta respect that.
Yeah. So what have you been doing? Have you been working on a shit ton of art?
Man, that's a good question. Always on it. It's just, you know what it is? It's just the medium's gonna change by whatever I have available. And lately it's been a lot of, I have a lot of ink that I made with some walnuts, like some wild, like, yeah, I found falling off the tree. And I've just been experimenting a lot with that because it like comes really, it's just like easy. I can pick up the brush and the ink, you know, and it's very satisfying. So yeah, just working on a lot of ink drawings. Trying to always get more into oil painting. It's just always a process, but I feel like the more I put into it, the more rewarding it is. Lately, I've been working on mostly paper, sometimes on wood. There's a canvas back here. It was actually one that I found down the street. Like, my neighbors were getting rid of stuff, and there was this blank canvas, and then I just was so stoked to find that. So I worked a couple paintings on that. That's like, sometimes I'll paint on a canvas and then repaint over it and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so lately a lot of work on paper and ink and watercolor and oil paint. And I recently have been trying to get out more. I have a truck that's like a camper setup. And I've just been, you know, with this whole situation in the world, I just try to like take a drive somewhere kind of far and pretty and just, you know, take it, you know, park the truck and, you know, just chill and try to make a drawing somewhere kind of different. And like some, usually I love going to like remote places in Massachusetts. It's such a small state, but there's like a lot of really interesting, really cool little nooks to the state and really beautiful places. So yeah, I get outdoors a lot and then I make artwork representing those places that I've kind of had, you know, connecting or grounding experience with.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels really good, especially, you know, living around this area my whole life, to be able to go to the places that I've always loved and try to like display that connection with that place through a drawing or a painting. It just feels so rewarding, you know, like lived in this area for 34 years and now I can try to start like depicting some of the places here or some of the colors and feelings in a way that I've taken or felt it. Like, feels really good. Like, and so I'm just trying to like, with whatever medium I have, whether it's drawing or painting, just try to put that connection to the Western Mass, to the Pioneer Valley out there in a way that's really, you know, comes from my head, you know, and yeah, and I've also, I mean, doing a lot of, you know, gardening. I try to grow, me and my partner try to grow a lot of our own food through the summer and into the fall. And it's really rewarding. Like, we both worked on farms and stuff through our you know, 20s. So like, we're trying to put that into place and keep it as part of our lifestyle of just, you know, self-sustaining and being connected to, you know, where you're at, like your place where you live, and to the you know, not only the people there, but the nice pretty places there and the, you know, food there too. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what the deal is, you know.
that's beast. Much respect.
Yeah.
What do you have any shows coming up? Or I guess
Oh
everything's
yeah,
kind of
no.
canceled for the time being.
No, you know, I was supposed to be in a group show. I've really made a really nice friendship with this guy Dean Brown. He's a gallery owner in Holyoke, Mass. He's got this really great sort of eclectic space called Pulp Holyoke. Check it out, pulpholyoke.com. He's just a great guy, and I was supposed to be in a group show over there in June, but I just don't know that that's going to happen right now. But I was really excited for that, and sort of the idea behind that group show was just like the everyday average process. Like in a month, what do you make? No matter what medium it is, no matter what it is, what does it look like for you to just be grounded in your own artistic process for like a month? So I was working on, the stuff I've been making would be, I'd look over that work with Dean and try to get a sense of what would be work best with the other artists for that group show. But so that was upcoming. I don't think it's on the horizon at the moment, but he's doing some online based stuff right now. Like that is pretty cool. And I think it's crazy to think that, we have social media and stuff, which is a great way to at least show some art. But it's interesting to see like a local gallery owner try to push like viewing art in bigger ways like than just social media during a time of like isolation and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So I'm very grateful that show was even upcoming, and I couldn't tell you, I'm bummed that it's not happening, because I just feel like I'm kind of just starting out on like being more serious and like intentional about what I want to do with art. So these connections I'm making and this sort of like path like feel new and feel great, and like I just gonna keep my mind open for just continuing to connect with more people and hope for more opportunities for to get work out there, but I'm just very, very happy to create. I just think it's one of the most rewarding things. Like, come on, we known each other for so long. I think, I filmed probably 10 to 20 minutes of worthwhile skate footage over 15 years maybe. And like, you'd think you'd have more, but you know what? Like, there was plenty of skating that happened that wasn't on camera. That was the best shit ever.
Yeah, but that was also a different time. Like,
yeah,
we didn't all have iPhones. These days,
exactly.
These days it's way too easy. You know what I mean? And plus, like,
that.
Also there's like a lower caliber of skating that still passes. But the bar has lowered, I feel. And also has the platform. Like, it doesn't have to look all professional and edited. You could literally film clips of yourself. Like my buddy Tom Musso, for example. I don't know if you watch these. I've been reposting them, but he's been making these like selfie videos called Co-Video 19. There's like 2 parts out now.
I've seen something like that.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, film clips of yourself horizontally, send them to me, and then I'm going to put them all together in an edit. And so now there's 2 chapters. He's going to put another one out, I think, by the end of the month.
That's
and
tight.
It's like, just so fun, especially at the time right now. Like, a lot of, especially New York skaters, a lot of us work freelance jobs. So it's like, we're definitely not working. Or if we are, then it's fucking a tiny bit. And it's getting super nice out finally. It's springtime.
Yeah.
Lest we forget, amidst all the crisis going on, it is ultimately springtime, and it's getting nice out. And especially for skaters, once again, we're social distance anyways. May as well go skate an obscure spot by yourself and film yourself. Yep. And then now you're working towards a project. It's a win-win. You're not sitting at home or being around people moping or getting people sick or yourself. So it's fun. It's like something to work forwards to, or look forward
exactly. No, I think that's important. Just trying to make that, like, get that satisfaction. If it's skating by yourself and you want to film a clip, like, fuck yeah. If it's skating by yourself, you don't want to film anything and just get the moves in, like, even better. It's kind of like with the artwork, just make it daily, whether I'm sharing it, whether I'm not. It's like just part of trying to feel satisfied, and also to share when the time comes. You want to feel heard or whatever, be heard or seen or whatever.
Right. When do you foresee that? Well, are you guys out of school for the rest of the year?
Yeah. They just today, boom, no more school for the whole year. So they just did that today, and but the last day of school is June 15th. So it's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's pretty early summer.
Yeah,
not bad. Then I'll be chilling out.
Right. Dope. Are you thinking of coming to New York at all?
I really should.
Yeah, why
It's
not?
been years, like so many years. I probably haven't been to New York City for 5 years. That's crazy. Yeah,
Really?
exactly. You think I'm a
Damn.
little.
No, it's not even that. I guess I'm just like I'm almost more just surprised at how fast time flies.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because last I checked, it was like March 1st, and now it's like April 20 something. Like that's just a little snippet, but the years, forget it. 5 years. In the last 5 years, like what the hell even happened?
Yeah,
Like a lot of stuff, but
exactly.
like what? It's weird. It's really weird. I just can't believe we're sitting here just like you're over there, I'm over here living these lives, you know? It's just the way it goes, you know?
I mean, I'm literally talking to a laptop on a box on a couch right now as if it's a prison.
I'm literally talking to the plant stand, like where all the like indoor vegetables are growing before they get planted.
What's up, Sage?
What?
So what's up, Sage? And basil and
Oh, we got
parsley.
tomatoes, like shitload of them. Peppers. Sick, man. You can smoke those peppers and dry them. Have them for the whole year. Can up the tomatoes, man. Stock them up.
I don't want to talk about food right now. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
Yeah.
I had this much coffee today and breakfast, and that's it.
Bad, man. What's up with that? You got to eat more. You're going to have an issue.
No. I've been eating a lot. If anything, I've been eating like I'll have breakfast and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do so much today, and I'll come home at like 3:30, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing shit, and I'll start eating lunch, a late lunch, and then I'll make kind of an early dinner, and then I'll make a late dinner, and then might have a snack on top of that, and I'm like, yo, I can't fucking stop eating, but I'm also bored. And I'm getting sucked into watching Netflix, so I'm like, ooh, a snack would be
Will you
nice.
tell me the menu?
I mean, I've been eating a lot of rice, beans, vegetables. A couple of weeks ago, I bought, not a couple of weeks, maybe like 7, 8 days ago, I bought like 1.5 pound, like giant box of baby kale. So I've been throwing that literally into every. Yeah,
What'd you do with it?
It's everything. It's like in every single meal.
It? Do you have an extra fridge?
No.
Baby kale fridge?
No, it's like it takes up a shelf.
It's very 2020. What?
It takes up a whole shelf pretty much, or like a half a shelf
in
the
fridge. No shit. How are you going to fit all your other food in there?
I make it work.
All you eat is baby kale. Russian Bob is on the coffee, baby kale diet, and clogging the toilet bowl.
Yo, I'd be shitting. Shit on these hoes. No, I'm healthy.
Dude,
I'm healthy.
You would.
No,
what?
I'm healthy.
I know you are, man. I know we shouldn't be talking about our movements here in this podcast. We're going to get us all kicked off, dude.
No, you won't get kicked off for this. Yo, but
oh, man.
You know what's crazy? I haven't smoked a cigarette since I last saw you in Amherst.
Oh, wow, that's good. You're smoking that funny cigarette with your dad.
Yeah, but that was CBD. That wasn't even THC.
I got to call you out on that, Bob. You can edit that.
I'm not going to edit it.
That was a funny night. Remember, I was feeling like shit that day. I came over there. Oh, boy. I was in rough shape.
Well, so after that, I got sick. This is granted.
Shut up.
Listen, this is after I went to.
I swear that was the COVID, dude.
Yeah, dude, me too. Because I was just in Barcelona, and then 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, I randomly was like, and I think it was because I worked all weekend, and I remember the day before my last cigarette, I went to my favorite burrito spot, and then tried to go to the skate park, and it was just like, I just felt heavy and unhealthy. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That was the day that I got my car tuned, and I was in a garage inhaling fumes all evening.
And that garage was cold, man. Cold, cement spot.
Yeah.
That's bad for your health.
So a week after that, I started getting a cough and like crazy headache one morning. And then the headache and all that, it went to like the weekend, but the cough persisted for like 2 or 3 weeks, and it was a dry cough. It was congestion.
No shit.
Yeah.
Bob, it was the same shit for me, man. That I don't want to go there because I don't want to be like playing this game. Maybe it's all probably hypochondriac shit, but man, that was a bad cold.
Yo, I'm saying that could have easily been corona, because now they're also saying that we uh, the initial the initial reports of it of when they think it first hit America. Now, especially New York and like the tri-state area, they're like, yeah, we actually think it was there since like December from like European travel. They don't even think it directly came from China. Yeah, and
That's
plus the
fucked
fact
up.
that like even to this day, like they don't have enough tests to actually verify how many people truly have it. The estimate of how many people are asymptomatic that do have it, the carriers, it went up from like 30 to 50% to like 50 to 70% now. You know what I mean? Like it's almost doubled. So it's like we could have
Nobody
definitely
knows.
had that.
Yeah, dude, nobody knows. It's too much.
Yeah.
And like right now, they got people talking about, okay, let's try to just open up the state for business or something. It's like, pause, you know? Like, I
Listen,
don't know.
my whole thing is that if you're young and healthy, you should be the priority that's getting tested. Well, okay, excuse me. The priority should be people that are actually coming to the ER that are really sick. In a perfect world, I wish we had more testing being done so that we could test the people that are arriving at the ER that clearly show symptoms that probably are getting sick from it. But I also wish that we had more tests for the lower risk demographic so that we could start testing them and trying to find out who has it and who doesn't. And if they don't, give them a certificate or something, some type of authorization saying that they could roam free and not necessarily have to stay inside. And people that are old with weak immune systems or are fucking fat should just stay home. It's really as simple as that. The
it's
number one thing, the number one cause of death or the number one risk factor when you catch corona is obesity.
holy shit.
And
I didn't
America
know
is
that.
obese as fuck.
That's so gnarly.
The second one is
Yeah,
smoking.
what's that?
The second one is smoking.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's like
no,
stay the fuck home
it's
if you're
like-
smoking or if you're overweight. I'm sorry, but that's
So
just like
tough.
it's tough and it sounds mean, but it's fucking true.
Yeah, there's some harsh reality shit going on over
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? And I just think that they got to. I mean, we don't want to go too on about it, but it's just apparent that our federal government is all fucked up, totally not like human centered, and all the governors, many governors at least, who have shown they have a pretty good mindset about trying to help the people in their state. And I just hope that our federal government doesn't try to make some really stupid pushes on the states to have them do, reopening shit like in ways that are really going to just make people more anxious and make people more fearful and make people have even more difficulty than they already are,
Well, not even just that, but also having a resurgence in the virus hitting.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah,
exactly.
no one needs that.
That's the biggest bullshit of it all.
But also just the sheer amount of misinformation too. Like now that I have so much free time, what I started doing is anytime I'll see something on Instagram or just really anywhere on the web, if I see something that's like real news or whatever, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fact check that now. And so far, it's like half the shit that I've found, whether it's like memes or quote unquote facts or news snippets, they're not real. But a lot of people aren't like me. Yeah, a lot of people aren't like me where they're actually going to go look up a source for something. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, like for example, the original one, and I even believed in it. That was like when it all first started. I succumbed to it. Was the whole like, oh, in Taiwan they're doing this testing where if you can hold your breath for 10 seconds, then you're good. It's like, well, it might say that it came from Stanford University, but then if you fact check it, Stanford never actually published any type of information like that. And in fact, recently they debunked it on their own Twitters and their own websites, being like, "Don't listen to that information."
That's so gnarly.
Yeah, dude. So it's like just like the same way that Trump had won the election in 2016 is the same way that a lot of fear mongering is happening in 2020 with COVID-19.
Oof, it's bad.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like that's so bad. Everybody's minds are just like fucking blown out with this misinformation. It's like it's just the information we get now is all misinformation. That's so fucking backwards.
Not all of it though.
Like,
That's the thing. Like a lot of it, we still
yeah,
ultimately we don't live in China. Like we live in a world with the freedom of speech and I don't know what's another constitutional right having to do with journalism. Freedom of
I
press.
mean, I hear you, Bob.
You know what I mean?
I'm not playing. I get it. We
Yeah.
have the freedoms. You kidding me?
But
Like,
I'm saying the
huge.
information is really out there. The problem here
Yeah,
is that there's a lot of, I mean, I guess in China they would call it propaganda. Here they would call it fake news. Same but different. You know what I mean? In
yeah,
the sense that, like what I just explained, like there's a lot of bullshit out there, but people will believe it because they're scared, they're fearful, and they feel like they can't trust the government or any like historically reliable source that's been grandfathered into our lives and our culture. So now they're
yeah,
looking for any and all alternate facts or
yeah,
alternative sources, and boom, they get hit with all this other bullshit, and then it's like mumbo
yeah.
jumbo.
Yeah, no, it's really I think that's just the sentiment that upsets me, that it's very much there's manipulation going on, and it's like just the present state of our society or whatever. And I get it. You're right, Bob. There is good information out there. It's not withheld or whatever. You're not punished to have it, which is like, grateful beyond all to understand that presently. But the fact that there's so much manipulation is just very sickening, because come on, if you know someone who lives their life as a manipulator, you stay the fuck away from that person.
Right.
And to think that our whole government is like running our lives like manipulators, that's so dark, It's just, that's what gets me, Like, I understand, you're right, Bob. There's freedoms, like, and I'm grateful. But I think I would just like to not be manipulated all the time.
No.
you
Of
know?
course, of course. I think you misunderstood me. What I was trying to say is that we have the freedom of press in America, right? That's like one of the constitutional rights.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, compared to let's say a place like China, everything is state rules and state operated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like all the
Yep.
newspapers, all the TV channels, the internet, like they don't have Google, they don't have Twitter. It's like very insular, and so it's very
Yep.
easy to have it be an echo chamber. And obviously we get the same thing here. Like I wrote a whole skit that I want to film sometime soon about how Twitter is a huge echo chamber, especially for the left, for the liberals, and for like
For sure.
Democrats. And if you veer out of that, then like you're ostracized. But
Yep.
I'm just saying that the other thing too is it kind of connects to what I said earlier in our conversation, the fact that we are so complacent here and comfortable that a lot of people just won't do the dirty work to try to like dig up and find what this true information or what real information is. You know
Sure.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also
No,
it
because
is
it's
hard.
just
It is hard because obviously now, whether you're a super honest news source or you're like Fox News, everyone is trying to get clicks these days because that's how you get paid through journalism. It's like ultimately speaking, like the news, for example, is media. At the end of the day, like they're looking for the same. If they're looking for ratings, the same way that a popular TV show might be looking for ratings. At the end of the day,
yeah.
like they look for sponsorship money to feed their own beast and pay salaries and stay on air. So it's tricky. It's
No,
sad, but
it is. No, you're. I hear you, Bob. It's a very complicated way of information sharing and commerce and getting your money, getting yours. It's a really crazy system these days.
yeah,
That's complicated as hell.
absolutely. Speaking of getting yours, did you get the stimulus check? What are you
Dude,
spending it on?
I don't even want to go there because it's this bank account thing, and
Oh,
I got some funds here and there. I don't even know. I don't know if I got it. That's
fair,
that. Yeah,
fair.
I don't want to know. I'm grateful to have that mindset though right now. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
don't know. Probably got to buy a new laptop or something. Typical.
of course. You get it and it goes out.
Mhm.
So what's next for you?
Bob, I'm gonna eat dinner. No. Bigger picture. Bob, you know what, dude? Just staying at it, staying on it, just continuing to try to do art, continue up that creative practice, get this master's degree in order, maybe progress my career, move on to bigger, like, I don't even want to say bigger things, but just continue to adapt in that career way and figure out something that works for me, even more so that I can balance my life with art being hopefully someday like moving the ship, you know what I'm saying, as much as it can, because it's always going to move my internal like drives and enjoyment. But be great if that could just be something that was like, causing the, good forward movement. And also I said this to myself before I'm 35, I'd like to have knee surgery. So that could come up too. And hopefully more time being able to skate and connect in years to come,
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, I'll let
Thanks,
you get to
Bob.
dinner. I'm going to do the same thing. Right before you go, do you want to give me your plugs, like social media or website or anything to look for that can be accessed through the web?
Sure. Check out, I'm just on Instagram. It's at Western Flower Exchange. All one word. Just peep it. It's just kind of like a daily or every other daily kind of, Instagram page, like a visual blog. And you can check out some of the work at Pulp Holyoke. I believe it's pulpholyoke.com. Some of the work's for sale there. So it supports me, but it supports a really great gallery run by a really awesome individual. So, just trying to keep it invested in this, Pioneer Valley, Western Mass community, the do-it-yourself sort of very creative left field vibes out here. Just keep a lot of motivation going, and I got a lot of, love for this place. So just hope to keep putting in the good energy and progress from there,
Dope.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep at it. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks for going on this.
Anytime, Bob.
All right, much
Thanks
love.
for visiting.
I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you soon too. I might even go to Amherst this weekend, so I'll let you know.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Covert meeting, bro.
Yeah. Well, we might have to shake hands through gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, dude. I'll see you soon.
Peace, Bob.
Later.
Have a good night.